In this module, we're going to learn that there are different ideas about what good leadership means. Why do we need youth leadership? Headspace, as the National Youth Mental Health Foundation, has youth participation built into its core. And that's where youth leadership becomes a really important factor into ensuring that youth participation is carried out effectively. Youth leadership is important for several different reasons. Firstly, it can help facilitate projects. So having a young person take a key lead on a project will lessen the burden on a staff member and will also provide opportunities for that young person to help facilitate the process and take their own lead and let them have the opportunity to develop the project and unroll it. Secondly, it provides opportunities for professional development of the new workforce, and this goes both ways. So this can extend into the staff, so ensuring that the staff members of a Headspace Centre are receiving professional development on how to interact with young people and how they can better work with young people. And it also works the other way, so it provides professional development for the young person by letting them take leadership roles in a youth context. They're able to develop professional skills which will help them achieve work in the future and develop as an individual. Thirdly, it allows young people to have a voice on key projects and groups that they're involved with, and that's the whole reason behind youth participation. It's about having that young person involved in on the projects and groups from the start. So having youth leadership built into that process as well allows young people to take an even greater step and be at the forefront of service delivery and working on projects. Leadership can be defined as the action of leading a group of people or an organisation, or the ability to do this. There are a number of different traits that lend to being a good leader. This may include passionate, appreciative, clear in communication, supportive, persuasive, aware, being a good listener, collaborative, accountable, reflective, powerful, charismatic, idealistic, altruistic, ethical, authentic, brave, fun, action-oriented, inspirational, influential, humble, a good steward, role model, spiritual. As you can see, there are a number of different traits that could potentially make up a good leader, but it really comes down to what you see in yourself and what applies to you that makes you a good leader. Now that we've talked a bit about what makes a good leader, let's have a look at what this looks like in a real-life context within Headspace. And I might start by talking a bit about my involvement at a local level. And then we'll hear from some other young people about what they've been involved in at a local level. At Headspace Adelaide and Headspace Onkaparinga, I volunteer for the Talking About Your Headspace Youth Ambassador program. What this program involves is going out directly into the community and delivering interactive workshops on youth mental health and stress. What this program involves is delivering interactive workshops in the community at schools and sports clubs on youth mental health and stress. So there was a very strong leadership component into developing this program. And so it was developed by young people for young people. And now what we're doing is we're actually taking a leading role in delivering the program without the necessary supports of staff. So we're acting largely independent and self-managing ourselves to be able to go out into the community, into schools and sports clubs and deliver these interactive workshops to young people and largely other members of the community.
Cool. My name is Charlie. I'm 22. So basically Q Headspace is an online safe space. It's an online peer support network for young people aged 12 to 25 where they can log in to this online platform and anonymously chat to queer peers. So basically they're young queer or LGBTIQ young people who have a lived experience of struggling with their gender identity or their sexuality, and basically we create a safe space where we facilitate a conversation that aims to ensure young people feel supported and aware of the mental health support services available to them. Each chat is supported by a mental health clinician, so it is a really safe space. I think one of the awesome things about youth participation is that it allows organisations like Headspace to create services or solutions or projects, campaigns, whatever it may be, that directly meet the needs of a particular community. So taking Q Headspace as an example, we came to Headspace and said, look, there is a real need in the LGBTIQ young community, the youth community, to deliver better support. What can we possibly do to ensure those young people feel more supported? Coming from the statistics of a quarter of young people in all centres identifying, that's huge. What can we do? And so we came up with the idea of creating an online safe space that would potentially meet many of the needs of many of those young people. And without youth participation, Headspace probably might not have known the real need and the real urgency for something as specific as that. And I think it just shows that by communicating directly with young people and putting the question out to them, what are the needs of young people in our community, and what can you see as a potential solution? Often you can create something really powerful. And I think that often the tendency is to create a project and then to bring young people in at the end, whereas Q Headspace was youth driven from the very beginning. And I think it's been really successful. And just from the fact that our first chat it reached between 250 and 300 young people is huge. And none of the eHeadspace group chats before had actually reached that many young people. So I think the fact that it's youth-led really means that it's able to meet that community need. So one of the biggest factors in the success of the Q Headspace project, I think, was having Anita. So she's our youth participation advisor. And because we don't work full time, but Anita is there at the national office, she was really able to connect us with all of the different teams at Headspace that we needed support from. And I think that was huge. So for example, Anita connected up with the clinical team who could advise us on, how to go about creating a safe online space clinically. We had some advice from the communications team and support from them in promoting it. Even like the legal team and the education and training team, everyone really was involved in the process. And if we were on our own and didn't have Anita's support, that would have been really hard. So having a community engagement officer that is really advocating for young people and helping them sort of link in with the different support networks in the organisation is really important. And also, I think having trust in young people and actually asking them, what are the difficulties that young people are facing in our local community, and just a simple brainstorming, what are some potential solutions to those difficulties. And so for us, Q Headspace was the initial idea, but the way it has come to fruition is quite different, but equally awesome.
So the Mind the Gap initiative is basically, it's a social initiative I started up in Canberra. It is a showcase of youth performing arts talent, and it also has a focus on youth mental health. So the sort of main aims are to showcase the amazing young people we have in our region and the talents they have and the passion they have about performing arts. It's also to raise awareness of mental health issues specifically regarded to youth and try and break down the stigma surrounding youth mental health. And it's also to raise money for local not-for-profits in the youth sector. So we raised money for Headspace is one example. So I think it's really important that Mind the Gap is youth-led, and that all the people that run the project and are within the project are youth, so under 25. I think that's really important because everyone has a lot of energy and a lot of passion and a lot of drive to show the community that young people are capable of pulling off shows like this, and also capable of telling their own stories, and passionate about things like mental health, and passionate about raising money for not-for-profits. So Mind the Gap initially started raising money for Headspace, and our young people were really excited about that. And young people have a lot of personal experience as well. If we're doing a show about youth mental health, you obviously want young people involved, otherwise it's not going to make sense. So initially it was my baby, and I'm a young person, so I definitely wanted it to be youth heavy, and I sort of made sure that anyone that I got in sort of for advice was very youth friendly and wasn't sort of using us sort of tokenistically, and was very, you know, happy to work with us on an equal basis. There was also our youth sector in the ACT, Youth Interact, is supportive of young people, and we're able to get a bit of grant money through them, so that was really supportive. And Headspace being supportive of us wanting to do an event for them and not shutting us down. I think I bring my own ideas like initiative, energy and enthusiasm, definitely my own personal experiences, and I think that's been a really big drive for me. Like, I'm passionate about mental health because of things I've seen and things I've lived through, and the other young people in the show are as well. So that's been really important. I'd love there to be more projects like Mind the Gap, or to have Mind the Gap, you know, put shows on across in other states, or even just continue in Canberra. I'm going to be soon not classed as a young person, but if somebody who was a young person would be able to like take it over, I think that would be important instead of having me run it as an adult. So the advice I have to Headspace staff who want to make a youth-led project happen is that you can do it, and they can do it. And most importantly, I think it's all about support and allowing the young people to take control of their ideas and the opportunities that you might give them. So for instance, asking the young people regularly, whether it's on the youth reference groups or in other ways you're engaging young people, do they have ideas in ways that they want to put on a show or engage the community or do an event or whatever it is, make a film. And if they do have ideas, make sure you're not dismissing them. Make sure that you're sort of, you know, maybe not every idea is completely possible within budget, etc., but making sure you can try and make some part of their dream or idea possible and doable, encouraging it, being supportive mostly, and helping them find ways to get grants or to get support from other people, even if you personally don't have the capacity, helping support them, and being really aware not to take over and take control and make it your project. So it's their project, and you want them to shine, but just letting them do that, because young people have so many ideas and passion, and a lot of the time they just need like the resources or the support.
We've now had a look at why we need youth leadership and what makes a good leader. In the next module, we're going to have a discussion about the barriers to youth leadership.